Those Champions League nights under the floodlights are going to be something else at St James's Park next season. Brighton have got European football for the first time as well. Could you have seen that coming when you left the football club?
Probably no. I think for where the club was, I'm probably to put it into sort of a mini statement as such. If I look when Graham Potter came in, I think probably for that even certainly a more expansive way of playing, and probably for the first 2 seasons. A league positioning not dramatically different to the seasons before. I think it was that third season
yes.
where I think everything really came together.
Clicked. Yeah.
And it really clicked, and that showed one in the performances, of course, but also in their league standing. The new coach, De Zerbi, has come in and for me taken them to another level. Watching some of their games last season, not just the results that they were picking up, but a way of playing. Going to Liverpool early in the season and I think coming away with a draw.
Trossard scored a hat-trick, didn't he? I think.
But a game that they should have won. I mean, going to places away from home and showing a level of performance that can win games.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's particularly it's a way of playing very expansive and very ball orientated.
But Chris, as we've said, to your undying credit, you brought them up to the Premier League. At that stage, where did you think their ceiling was? Could you ever have envisaged that they're now in Europe? Last season they were knocking on the door of Europe. They're in Europe now. So did you sense that then?
No. I mean, probably because of where Brighton had been before that, and if I look at the period of time I was there, it took 2 goes to get to the Premier League, and of course I was with the club for 2 years after that. And if I look at the level of standing of the club, the capacity of the ground, there were so many good things in place. But to be where they are now, no, I couldn't have done. What I could see the club continuing to make progress, but it's been quite a giant step, I think, in the last couple of seasons, which puts a little bit more pressure. Expectations become a little bit.
Well, that's it.
A little bit more, and of course, players, as we've seen over the last season, values have gone up. The club have done incredibly well to hold on to the ones that they wanted to hold to, and to get correct values for the ones that they're prepared to let go. So as a club, it's a great example from where they've been to where they are at this particular moment.
On the subject of values for players, we've had loads of Chelsea fans messaging in, not happy that I described lowball offers for Moises Caicedo. They think £80 million should be enough to force Brighton to do business. Tony Bloom, he's got his valuation. We believe it's nearer £100 million. Any chance of him buckling between now and the end of the window? Well,
probably the only way I see it is the Brighton are a club at this moment have done incredibly good business. And I would imagine they are not desperate to sell. And I think if the circumstances, a Brighton of a good few years ago certainly would have accepted this offer. But they're in a very, very good position at the moment. They are not desperate to sell, and I think they will sell when the value is their correct evaluation.
I've just spotted a message. I'm going to read it. Hi Jim. Hi Alex. Chris Hughton on with you. He used to stay with my late nan and granddad, Glad and Alf Waller, in Edmonton High Street when he was just an apprentice at Spurs. And they were always so very, very proud of what he did in his career. He's a legend. Jamie. Remember them? Of course you do.
Yes, I do. And this was, as we've already spoke about, quite some time ago. But I actually wasn't an apprentice at Tottenham. My pathway was a little bit different. I came in as a semi-pro. As a lot of people do know, I am actually a qualified lift engineer, which I've done from 16 to 20. So it was during that period of time. So a lot of people know that.
Right, a lift engineer. I didn't know that.
That could be quite handy up on the 17th floor.
Yes.
Well, your career certainly went up after that.
So it would have been during that period of time. But of course, I was at Tottenham as a 14-year-old, right the way through to making my debut. Of course.
How does that make you feel when you hear that? All these years on, there's that family.
It's a wonderful feeling. But I think these type of comments and sentiments I think, come with the game. I think there's a wonderful connection between local people and what their team, and of course Edmonton's just down the road from of course White Hart Lane, which is where the stadium is.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.